What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Antler and AFCO Podcast, the podcast for new and adult onset hunters. My name's Vince. I'm going to be your host. And guys, we are kicking off episode number 1 of season 3 of the show. Now, one thing I'm going to go back and forth with, I'm not sure what to do yet. You guys will see it on the other side of this edit. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to episode number 41, because it is episode number 41, or if I'm going to continue with the season 3, episode 1. It's a mystery. You'll know when you're listening to this. You'll know what I decided, but I like to keep things fresh. I like to do seasons, 20-episode seasons, because it allows me to, A, take a break in between, B, kind of reinvent if I want to change some things around and kind of reintroduce the show. But it still remains the same. My main goal of this show is going to be to get information to newer hunters, things that I'm learning as a newer hunter myself. I just want to learn things, pass them on to you guys so that we all learn together. I've had a lot of times where I'm in the field or I just don't know something and I've had to just scour the internet and I've had to watch millions of videos, all this stuff. I want to try to make this a place where you can come as a newer hunter and learn new things that I had to learn on my own. So that also goes for your experience, guys. You guys can learn a thing or two as well. We're teaching old dogs new tricks, and we're teaching new dogs old tricks. I don't know. That was stupid. I should probably edit that part out. But anyway, we are finally also seeing indication that AFCO may be legitimately out on parole from our Instagram prison sentence. Our reels are still a little funky, but as far as posts, things have really changed around on the analytics side. So that's showing me that we're getting back out there, which is good for a number of reasons. One, it helps the show grow. It helps the apparel company get out there. It allows me to interact with you guys better. It's really been a long couple months, 3 or 4 months, where a lot of you guys just didn't know I existed anymore. So it's looking like we're coming out of that. Hopefully the Reels thing will pick up too, because, I mean, just to be blatantly honest, that's a good way to get this show and get AFCO out to more people. And like I've said, every show since we've started, the more people we get listening, the better and better and better guests we can continue to get on this show. We've been very fortunate with the guests that we've had on. I've been batting out of my league since I began. So we've been really fortunate to have a lot of really knowledgeable guests as well as just really fun guests. So I want to keep that going. I don't want to go too far off topic, but yeah, that's just an update on the AFCO prison sentence. I think we're out on parole, so things are looking up there. Hopefully we can get a job somewhere. We can get out back into society, get reacclimated, and start having fun in the hunting industry. Let's see. Thirdly, I want to let you guys know, because this may be a bunch of new people, because now, like I said, now that we're getting out of prison, if you're new, I want to make you aware of antlerfeatherco.com. That's where you can get your AFCO hunt apparel. So I designed a bunch of shirts, hoodies. We're going to have our hats on there as well, things like that. So if you want to support the show, that's probably one of the best ways to do it. That allows me to continue getting the better gear, getting things so that I can produce a better show for you guys. But number one way is for you to share the show. That's the number one way you can help support the show. Share this with all of your friends, all your family. I got buddies who shared it with their grandma. I think that's just awesome. So if you guys want to help support the show, keep it going, that is your number one way. Share the show, let people know about it. And number two, if you want to throw a couple bucks towards some apparel, I think we got some pretty cool looking shirts and stuff like that. So I'd appreciate that as well. So check out antlerfeatherco.com. And that is all the crap I'm going to throw at you guys here in the beginning. So this week for episode number 1 or episode 41, who knows, we have Cody from Bowhunting League. He reached out to me and was kind of talking to me about it. I actually joined it, I think, last year, but I never killed a buck. And so I didn't keep up with it, but I wanted to learn more about that. I think it's a really fun idea. It's a free contest for us hunters to get into. So I want to learn more about it. So with that, let's jump into the conversation with Cody from the Bowhunting League. Cody, what's going on, man? How are you doing today?
Great. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you on. So the Bowhunting League, which we will go way in depth on, because I think it's, for what I know of it, I already think it's really cool and I want to know more about it. I think it's a really fun idea for those of us out there who are not professionals, who are not getting paid to hunt. It's just a fun thing that we can add to hunting to make it just a little bit more interesting. And even women, I mean, there's some killers out there that are women. So for all of us hunters in general, it's just a fun thing to kind of add that competition factor. And I will, if you allow me to, I was looking at your Turkey League scoreboard. And like I said, we'll get into the details, but you got to let me read off some of these names if I can. There's some people got some killer freaking team names in your top 10 or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
But so let everybody know where you're from. Where's the bow hunting league out of?
The bow hunting league's out of actually nationwide. We don't really have any certain area where it started at. It started back in 2015, and if I'm not mistaken, there was only 12 teams the first year. Okay. And then last year we had 1,242 teams.
Jeez.
We've almost doubled in size every year. We're hoping the goal that we've set for this year is 2,000 teams. And to get on a team for the deer contest there's 3 people teams. You can be anywhere from the United States, Canada, anywhere that they have deer, whitetail, coos, blacktail. We also have elk contests. And
cool.
And everything is completely free. You pay.
That's
you
awesome.
pay absolutely nothing to be involved. And like you were talking there before we introduced there, is we talk about, like, I have an opportunity to hunt in Kentucky this year. I'm not paying an outfitter. I met somebody through the league. I'm going to go hunt on his private ground, and gives me the chance to not have to pay the outfitter. And networking, like that's what we all talk about all the time, is networking. And I've been involved this will be my 4th year in the league, and it's a blast. I run the doe contest, so who doesn't like killing does? Last year,
they taste good.
Yeah, our winner from the South region last year, he killed 20 does with his bow.
Jeez.
He ended up with, if I'm not mistaken, he killed right at 30 deer total for the whole year. It's Justin Miller. We call him the Barefoot Assassin. And that man he kills, and that's all he does.
So I'm going to ask the question that I know every single listener is currently thinking. Did this guy legally kill 30 deer? Where did he get 30 tags worth?
Tennessee.
Or did he go state to state to
state?
Well,
he does travel, but he killed almost all of his does in Tennessee. And
what is their... Do they just have like an open tag?
You can kill 3 does a day.
Really?
Yes, in certain parts. If I read the regulations, everything right, you can kill up to 3 does a day in Tennessee.
Holy cow. Man, in Iowa, we get 1 buck tag, and then let me rephrase. We get 1 any sex statewide tag, and then we also can buy additional doe tags for what is allotted for the county. So like my county might only have 300. Now, I think the first run through you can only buy 1, but then you can go back around if there's any left and sweep up the rest. Okay. But there's usually not any left. So for someone like me and urban hunting, if you get into urban hunting, you can also score a couple extra tags. I think doe tags in urban hunting might be unlimited.
I can kill 9 in urban.
Yeah. But yeah, for someone like me, or I don't know, I'm right on the border of Illinois. I'm not really totally 100% familiar with Illinois, but I don't think you can buy a ton there. But yeah, so the number 30 to me is like, holy shit.
It is.
But on the bright side, I am a person who I don't trust the government, but I do have some faith in state agencies to an extent. And I do have faith that the biologists there know what they're doing enough that if 30 was a problem, then they would do something about it.
There's a reason they can kill 3 a day.
Yeah. I mean, but that's insane. Man, you could eat deer breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the year.
They do not buy beef, anything. That is all their family eats is deer. And the guy in the North Zone, he killed 10, which I think that was over 2 or 3 states in the North Zone. He also killed 3 in the South Zone. But that's why, like this year for the doe contest, I split it up. We have North Zone and South Zone, which is cut off right, pretty much the Mason-Dixon line.
Okay.
It's kind of complicated to explain it without the picture, but that way, because like most of the North states, you don't have the numbers. You can't kill pretty much unlimited does.
Right.
And the winner of the North Zone, he had 10 last year.
Okay.
And this year we're doing that. So there's 5 placements for the North Zone, 5 placements for the South Zone, and the winner of each of those will receive a brand new bow, free.
No kidding. That's
it was
awesome.
a Bowtech Amplify that each of those 2 guys won last year. And then
Awesome.
a shout out to Oakeyland down in Oklahoma. They sponsored us quite a few bows last year. We gave away 17 bows last year.
Jeez.
And we're already over that
That's
number
crazy.
for this year.
That's nuts considering you said you started with like 12
Yep,
teams
started
in
with-
2015?
Yep, and now we had 1,242 teams since last year. We're looking to hopefully double that again. Because we got 40.
Man, you just
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We got 46.4 thousand members. Is what we have.
That's pretty strong. Pretty strong. Dude, you just restructured my entire question list because you've hit on some things I was going to ask, but then you hit on those things that I need to go back.
Yep.
And then you've also said some things and I'm like, oh, I got to know more about that. So if you see me looking
you're
down,
fine.
looking like I'm not paying attention, I'm writing because I am. You hit me with 30 does or 30 deer, and I was like, "Whoa, we're going somewhere else with this."
I'll put it this way: we have on the buck side, we have a King of Tines. That is a hunter's 5 best bucks for the year. So unlimited upgrades. Our winner of King of Tines last year, he ended up, I think, killing 7 or 8 bucks he killed, and he won it. And I'm not 100% certain on how many inches he had. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. But our winning team last year was either 480 or 490 inches between the 3 guys. They averaged each one of us killed a buck over 150 inches.
I want to hang out with those guys.
And that's
Good Lord.
between first, second, and third, only separated by 9 inches last year.
No kidding.
Between the 3 teams, it was 9 inches of antler. We were right. We killed 97,000 inches last year in antler across the league. With an average buck. Average buck score of 131 and I think 3/8. And if I'm not mistaken, it was we killed over 700 bucks is what we killed.
Man.
Yeah.
All right, so let's backtrack here. This I got way more interesting facts than I was prepared for. So I just want to how did the whole idea of the bow hunting league even start?
It was
later in the show we'll get into, because I want to ask you about the zones, your different contests, how your totals work with the teams. You've got different species to talk about, and there is one controversial thing that I'm going to ask you. And you can say yes or no to talking about it, and I will edit it out otherwise, so that it just won't even be part of the show. But there is a specific thing I want to talk about. You probably already know.
I have an idea.
Yeah. But where did this whole thing start? How did it start out? What was the original idea of the bow hunting league?
I was not here. I was not in the bow hunting league when it first started, but I've heard it from Ben Harrison is our captain. He's our leader. It was a thing that him and some other guys got together, were talking, just start off as a friendly competition between the guys. And they had 12 teams, I said there. And then the word kind of got out. They all loved it. And then since then, it has doubled in size every year since then. And I keep hearing from different sponsors, because I'm really close with a couple of our main sponsors. And they straight up said, our site, there's no drama. You will never see a comment of somebody hating on a deer, because we're happy. You kill a deer, we're ecstatic. And just awesome. For that, if you kill a buck in the bow hunting league, you have a chance to win a brand new flagship Matthews bow if you enter 1 buck.
And you're not giving away a crappy bow either, flagship. So you're talking a phase 4 probably
Yeah,
right now.
I think it is a phase 4 that will be given away. And that's just for entering a buck. You'll get put on a big random wheel, Ben will spin it, and that winner will receive a brand new Matthews bow.
I hope the smallest spike wins that bow. You need to. Do you have a smallest spike club?
We joke around with it all the time about that.
I ran a AFCO Best Buck Championship last year, and we gave away a championship belt, like a wrestling belt, and some other stuff from other sponsors. And I was toying with the idea. I didn't know, because it wasn't as big as like your guys' thing. I was like, I don't think there's going to be enough people to really make it work. But I wanted to have an ugliest buck contest, as well as something to do with the smallest spike. Because I'm in Iowa, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm some big buck killer. I'm not. I haven't killed a big buck. And so I'm really with the team of like, get a deer on the ground, period, regardless of what it is, legally. Yep. But I wanted to do ugliest buck because my brother-in-law, Josh, he killed a buck in Arkansas, and I hunt a little bit in Arkansas with them. And he sent me the picture, and Josh, I'm sorry, but it was the ugliest. It was a deer. It was definitely a deer, but its tongue was like green. And it was just the ugliest looking deer I've ever seen. And I was like, man, I want to do an ugliest deer contest, because I know there's some freaky looking ones out there. So if you guys want to do an ugliest buck, feel free to steal that idea. I don't need any royalties. But so we started out in 15. You had 12 teams. It's been doubling every year. Did the original contest, was there as many categories as there are now?
No, it started off with just the team aspect. That I think the second year, is when the King of Tines came into effect, and then that was just the team and then the King of Tines, and then they've done a few odds and ends throughout the year that we thought they were great ideas. They failed, or they just didn't work out. And
hey, it happens.
They tried a doe contest. It would have been 3 years ago, but they win it off base weight is how they did it. And a lot of guys don't have access to a scale, or they just don't want to worry about weighing it. And then last year I brought the idea up, hey, I'll run the doe contest, no hesitation. I'll take care of all of it. And we had great success. And then this year I'm running it again, and we got guys that are putting teams together just to enter the doe contest. Yeah. And there's guys that are
talk about the structure then, the teams. So it's my understanding each team is 3 people. And then just beyond that, like so let's just say, because I entered it last year with some buddies, and none of us killed a buck. So obviously I never found out anything beyond the registration side of it.
If a buck scores, you can score it the same day you kill it. And Buckmasters, if you're a member of the Bowhunting League, Buckmasters will officially score your buck for free, because you're part of the Bowhunting League. But a lot of guys will run. That's what scoring procedures we do. Now, if the buck scores over 130 inches, we ask for a picture of longest tine with the measurement, and then your largest mass measurement. And then if we need more pictures, we'll ask. But if you're in the top 10 teams or in the top 10 of the King of Tines, you do have to get them officially scored, is what we're asking now.
So is King of Tines like an individual side? Yep. Okay, I just wanted to clarify before we went on.
To enter anything in the Bowhunting League, you have to be a part of a team.
Okay.
Is how we do that.
So you've got to be on a 3-person team, but then if you have just a monster buck, you can break off and do the King of Tines as well. Yep. Okay. So then, all right, let's assume my 3-person team, we all go out, we all kill a buck, we have them measured, and then what from there? It's a team total?
Yes. You'll go on the website, you'll enter it, Dan Hnaff does a fantastic job setting it up. He walks you right through the entering process, and then it goes it's the team's best $3, unlimited upgrades. So say the first day of season, you go out in Iowa and you kill a 140-inch buck. And then November, you hunt, say, Arkansas or Illinois, and you kill a buck bigger than that. Well, you enter your upgrade, and we take the biggest score.
Gotcha.
Cool. And then one rule we do have in effect is we only allow one buck entered from an outfitter. Okay. And that goes back to our networking part of it, because we want to see guys hunting together. We want to see you go meet people, go hunt with them. Is what we really want to see.
Yeah, and I'm not hating on anybody by any means. I'm sure the experience of hunting with an outfitter, for someone like myself, who I can kill a doe, I have not shot a big buck, and maybe I'm just like, dude, I gotta get something down. I'm sure the experience of hunting with an outfitter is great, but you're almost guaranteed, if you shoot something, that it's going to be something to write home about. So I like the idea that you guys did that. Did you guys, what are some of your, I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm curious, what are some of your more controversial rules, minus the one that we talked about earlier that I think we both know about? So the outfitter thing, like, do you guys get a bunch of shit from people on certain stipulations?
Not really. There's really nobody that complains, because we're just all in it to have fun, because we all share the same goal. We all love deer hunting. We all love bow hunting. And that's honestly, the one you're talking about is the biggest controversial one of all of them.
Yeah. Do you mind talking about that?
I have no problem talking about that.
What I want to avoid with it is I don't want to have this conversation, because certain people will not take it well, and I don't want to throw shade on the bow hunting league. But I guess those people aren't part of it anyway, so I don't know. Here, we'll just have the conversation, and if at the end you're like, hey, bro, can you take that out? We'll take it out. So obviously, we're talking about these rules, and I think all my listeners for sure, I don't know if you've listened to this show before, my listeners for sure know exactly what we're dancing around, because my claim to fame is my reel about this. You guys don't allow crossbows. You only allow vertical bows. Why is that?
The reason we just allow vertical bows, because I'm going to say it in this aspect of, it's more of a challenge. Okay. Because our traditional side is actually growing phenomenally for this year.
Yeah, trad bows are blowing up recently.
Like, we have guys that are entering just traditional teams, because we're having separate prizes also for them teams, because that's another aspect of bow hunting that's even tougher. Mm-hmm. And that's just from the very beginning. That has been the rule of thumb, is we're going to do vertical bows only, and that's what we've stuck with.
Yeah. And I assume you guys share the same opinions about crossbows as I do, where people got really up in arms about it, thinking I was talking shit and hating on people that hunt with crossbows. And I'm like, no, not at all. And people are, you think that you think crossbows are so easy? You think this and that? And I'm like, no, man. And for that reel I did where I said, if you are a crossbow hunter, I don't think you're a bow hunter. I think you're a crossbow hunter. Dude, it was the best and worst thing that ever happened to me. But like, I had a lot of guys who were older that can't pull a bow anymore tear into me. The most hate that I got was from the trad bow community, saying that I'm a compound bow hunter and I know nothing about difficulty. But then we also got the big influx of like, what about kids? And that's where it's like the big thing. Like, I'm sure you guys have the same thought process. Crossbows in hunting are not a bad thing. They're a wonderful tool.
The stepping stone
for kids.
The next generation in the woods is the way most of us don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's keeping the older generation in the woods.
Even longer. Yep.
Like, That's one thing I had to explain over and over. I had so many shoulder surgeries. I'm 65. I can't even pull a 30-pound bow back. So you just think I shouldn't be able to hunt?
No.
I was like, no, man. I am thrilled that there is a tool that allows you to continue to hunt. I mean, there's a reason you can use a crossbow and you can't use a compound.
Yep.
Like part of the difficulty, is pulling it back.
Yep.
But technically speaking, I mean, I've seen it firsthand in front of me. Like someone who's never shot a bow or a crossbow or even a gun in their life can pick up a crossbow and put a kill shot at 20 yards.
It makes it more ethical.
I've seen it over and over and over. And it's like, I'm not hating on it at all. I think it's great. I mean, if I ever get to a point when I'm older or if I have some kind of blowout with my shoulder, there's no way in hell I'm staying out of the woods. I'll pick up a crossbow right then and there.
I had elbow injury last year. The temptation was there to do it, and I got lucky. I killed my buck the 8th of October, so it's right before I had the injury. So, okay, I'm just on doe patrol now, so I'll make it work.
Yeah.
But, no, there's no hate from us. It's more the fact of that's been from day one, vertical bows only, and we've stuck to it.
Yeah.
And especially now with how big we've grown, we really like I never understood the backside behind the scenes aspect of how much work it actually is. And props go out to everybody else included too in the whole bow hunting league. There's a lot of guys that are behind the scenes, and it's tough. But we've always stuck with the vertical bow only, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Yeah. Have you guys ever thrown around the idea of having just like a crossbow league?
We have, but just like that's a whole other aspect of a lot more manpower to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like guys in November, we put it out there that, hey, if it's during the middle of the rut, you might not see an update on the scoreboard right away because we're all out pushing, hunting hard, and nobody complains.
All right, guys, it's that time of the show. We're going to take a quick break so I can share the friends of the show with you guys. So our first friend of the show is a brand new partner with the show. It is Pursuit Energy. Now, I originally found them through Mr. Bobcats and Broadheads, Brian. You guys know who he is. He had picked it up, and he seemed to really like it, so I got some for myself to try out. Now, they have a bunch of different kinds you can get. You can get your full sugar, full-blown energy drink version. They call it their high-caliber energy drinks. If you're like me and you're aiming for a shredded bod, you're not there, but you're aiming. I get the zero sugar versions, which I think it's like 5 calories, 2 carbs, and the rest is like zero. It's pretty zero down the board. That's what I like to get. They also partnered with Primos. They're kind of like a hunting brand energy drink. They partnered with Primos for turkey season. They came out with Blazing Orange and Original Gobbler. I got the Blazing Orange. I really like it. It tastes just like orange soda. Didn't have any weird aftertaste, anything like that. I also like that it's made in the USA. That's important to me. That's important to a lot of us in the hunting community. So I want to get this brand out in front of you guys because, I really like it. It worked well for me. Gave me all the energy I could ask for without being too much. And so I just wanted to share them with you guys. They also have jerky. They have canine jerky. They have their own coffee. And I just think it's a really great company. I really enjoy it. I'm on their website right now looking at it and all the stuff they offer. So I want you guys to go check them out. We're working on a code for you guys. Maybe we'll have that on the next episode. I just wanted to get them in the show for episode number 1 of season 3. So visit pursuitenergy.com and fuel your pursuit. And next, we got Buzzard Roost saddles. Buzzard Roost is the most adjustable, most comfortable saddle on the market. I've been telling you guys about them for a while. I really, really love mine. Yes, I have sat in other name brand saddles, and this one blows them out of the water. I want you to get your butt into one, and I want you to do it now so that when it comes time for hunting season, you can already have your system in place and you can focus on your hunting out of your Buzzard Roost saddle. Go to their website, buzzardroostsaddles.com. Use code all caps AAFP10. That's going to get you 10% off your very own Buzzard Roost saddle. And Our Grounds Coffee Co. Our Grounds is still the official coffee of the AFCO podcast. Ed is still getting that shop together. He is doing a ton of work. I cannot wait for him to start getting that roaster going, pumping out great coffee for us. Go check him out. Go help support him. Buy some merch. Buy some other things on their website. Visit ourgroundscoffeeco.com. If you use code all caps AFCO, that is going to get you 15% off at Our Grounds Coffee Co. And next, More Innovations. More Innovations is an awesome 3D printing company. They make 3D printed gear for all of you guys out there who are doing your own bow work. They have caddies, they have wall mount systems. So all of your tools, thread, all of your little pieces that come off your bow, you can keep it all in one place so you don't lose it. I use the 5-arrow pocket quiver all the time. I really love it. It keeps my arrows from poking me in the junk when I'm walking around at the range. You guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, check out moreinnovations.com. If you use code all caps AFCO10, that's going to get you 10% off at More Innovations. And finally, Adams Precision Archery. So I finally got the fanny pack build flying true like a champ. I sent, I think, 4 out past 90 the other day. They're flying good, and they look good. It's like they're like slow motion in the air every time you shoot them. You see those colors spinning. If you guys want to get yourself your own wraps, like I got the fanny pack wraps, just go on adamsprecisionarchery.com. The AFCO APA fanny pack wraps are on there. If you want the exact build I had, just ask Dustin. Let him know you want the fanny pack build. And while you're there, use code all caps AFCO10. That's going to get you 10% off any arrow build. But I recommend you go with the fanny pack build because it just looks freaking sweet. It's like an 80s party right on your bow. All right, guys, that's all I got for friends of the show. Let's jump right back into the podcast. That's the hard part about being, I guess, being a contributor in the outdoor industry in one way or the other. Like I do podcasts. I have my Instagram. I'm trying to do my thing. You guys have the Bowhunter League. It's difficult when you get into hunting season. Specifically as a podcaster, because you're like, hey, I need to talk to somebody, and they're like, we're all hunting. Like, I can't talk to you on a podcast. What are you talking about? But like the part of like people are like, hey, you're not posting as much, or I feel like I haven't heard from you, and it's like,
I'm hunting.
Aren't you? Like, we all talk. Like, I don't know about you. I'm pretty anti-influencer. I'm pretty upfront about that. I make fun of it a lot. I'm not a big fan of the guys that, they have all of their logos showing in every video and every caption is about what gear they have on in the picture. That's not my thing. I don't, if that's what you do, then do it. I don't care, whatever. You have just as much of a right to do that as I have to do my thing. I'm just not a fan of it. Because a lot of times you see like, logos, this company, this company. And you're like, what did you shoot this year? Like, you know what I mean?
Yep, I know exactly what you're.
But, God, I went on a tangent there and I forgot why I even brought it up. But like, it is difficult because people are like, where have you been? It's like, I'm out hunting. Like, I'm not like just a content creator that just makes a bunch of hunting videos and then doesn't hunt. Like, I want to be out for the rut too. Like, sorry, I don't have a video of me shooting my bow for you. Like, I need to go shoot an animal. Like, my number one priority is putting meat in the freezer and filling tags.
Last year it was that way because, like, the doe contest, instead of doing it on the website like we're going to this year, I manually entered every doe entry last year. So the whole month of November
for the whole league,
for all the does that were killed, which is over 400 does, I manually entered them into a spreadsheet last year.
Shit.
And I got the whole month of November because I was processing deer last year. So
you deserve a round of applause.
I was busy processing. Plus, I was out hunting hard because I hunt Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan because I live right where all 3 states come together. And I was hunting hard, and the guys are getting to me. I'm like, all right, wait till this Sunday. I'll sit down and I'll enter them all. 3 hours later, I had them all, the rest of them called up and entered, and off we went. But nobody complains. That's the best thing about the bow handling. You don't ever really hear any negative comments from anybody.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a thing, and it. You had mentioned earlier, there's no buck shaming.
None.
There's no deer shaming. Everybody is in it for the right reasons, and that's a big tip of the hat to you guys because there are endless amounts of contests and just people in general who it's like, I mean, one of my I don't want to say good buddies because we only know each other from the internet, but like Eric, I've gotten he's helped me a lot from Okayest Hunter, and that's why I love them so much, because they're so just, if you shoot the tiniest spike in the world or a doe, awesome. Yeah. If you shoot the biggest deer that's ever been seen, awesome. It's your tag.
Yep.
And so I'm glad to hear that the bow hunting league is like that too.
And that's the one
where it's like, hey man,
we really push with the teams. Like, if you're a new hunter, never killed a deer, we have people that are looking, that are in the same boat as them, to team up. And you got questions, reach out, ask. Honestly, you see somebody that's at the top of the king of times and they've already killed 4 bucks. You got questions, ask away. 99% of everybody in the league is going to be right there to help you, give you tips, tricks. And if anybody goes to the website or goes to the Facebook page, Bowhunting League, at the top I have a thing. It's called Team Thread. It's the team thread. And you want to join a team, but you don't have 2 buddies to go grab, comment on there. Mm-hmm. We will find you a team.
Cool. So that was my next question, was the networking side of it that you talked about. So I like that as well, where I personally have the buddies that hunt now to do it. But like when I first kicked off three years ago hunting, I didn't know any other hunters. Yep. So you are able to, you have teams that are comprised of people who just met online.
Yeah, like we have,
that are just teaming up.
Last 2 years, the teams I've been on, I didn't know my teammates at all until I found them in the recruiting thread and teamed up with them, got to know them. I actually got a really good I made 2 great friends last year out of it. One's in Missouri, one's in Oklahoma, and they both invited me out to hunt with them. If I can swing it and get out there, they said, come on out and hunt, we'll hunt. And it's like, yeah. And them are friends. I've made friends for life through the bow hunting league.
Yeah. So so people who are listening right now, they're like, hey, that sounds pretty cool, and I want to get involved, especially on the networking side, because I didn't realize that there was. So I thought it was just the website. You had to find buddies and go sign up. Where is it? So you mentioned you have a Facebook page for it. How do people get into that?
We have 2 Facebook pages. We have bowhuntingleague.com, and that's mainly, that will bring you to our website. We make all the posts. And we also have the Bowhunting League. It's just a page. And that's where most of our communication, our posts, you can talk, you can find teams, you can comment, everything on. And if you have questions, reach out to anybody you see making the post in there. Like, especially that's pinned at the top, Ben Harrison, me. We got Rebecca's on there all the time. And we'll help. We'll find you a team. That's why I said, like, a team thread. I clean it up every week. So find out who already has a team, get rid of those comments, and then more people comment. We find you teams. There's always people looking for teams.
Okay. So for those who are out there who are, first of all, that's awesome. I think that's so fun. And the minute I get off of here, I'm going to go put together a team and sign up. You guys also have different species. So we've been mainly talking about bucks and deer.
Yep.
I know you have a turkey one. You mentioned there was an elk one. Yep. What all species do you guys cover?
We got the elk one is its own. And then the turkey one is the spring thing, just to keep everybody involved. It's all bow hunting. And then, but we also, in the deer contest, we allow coos deer. And then blacktail. They get an extra, because they're a lot smaller, they actually get a bonus on top of them. We actually had a giant blacktail killed last year that got entered into the league. And then mule deer take a 10-point deduction automatically. But the mule deer can be entered.
As they should.
Yeah, they get entered right in with the whitetails. And yeah, they're right in with them. And honestly, I've seen some giant mule deer killed. I've seen some giant whitetails killed. We actually had a tie last year for the biggest buck in the league. It was 196. It was a female hunter. She killed a giant velvet 196 inch, and then one of the guys that killed one. And them two
Good
actually
deal.
both won brand new Kaufman e-bikes. So if you shoot
Nice.
the largest buck in the Bowhunting League for the year 2023, you will receive a brand new Kaufman e-bike.
You guys aren't messing around with the
Nope,
prizes.
we got all
My
sponsors.
God, e-bikes, bows, flagship bows of legitimate bow companies. I mean, my goodness.
I'll put it this way:
I'm gonna-
over $50,000 in prizes will be given away again this year.
That's insane. 12 people. It started with 12 or 12 teams. Started with 12
So
teams.
36 people it started with, and now we had, I think it's over 3,000 people that were in it last year.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
There's your guys who are listening who are in the middle of trying to figure things out. It can work.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, okay, like I said, I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to ask. And it's just, there's so much more to it than I thought. We talked about crossbows. I think we covered that. Species, we covered that. So, yeah, let's talk about the zones. You had mentioned zones.
For the doe contest.
Is that okay? So we'll just talk about the deer, because I think most of the people that are going to listen to this are going to be interested in either deer or turkey.
Yep.
I know I got guys who listen who do elk hunt, but it's hit or miss.
Yep.
My show is not an elk hunting show. It's just not. So we'll talk about deer. We'll talk about turkey separately later. So for deer, your main contest is nation or international, but we'll just say
North America
whatever.
mainly.
And then your doe contest, you break into zones.
Correct. For the simple fact of the southern states and stuff, they can kill a lot more than what the northern is. So we broke that into zones. But we're calling it Operation Doe Patrol is what our doe contest is called, or ODP. And for that, we have a team prize. So the team that enters the most does, they're going to win a heck of a prize. We haven't got all the prizes for that sorted out yet, but they're going to win a prize. We're hoping to get them to be able to give the winning team all brand new bows, is what our goal is.
That would be
nuts. You have ODP, which is your 5 people in the north zone, 5 people in the south zone that kill the most does that enter them.
Okay.
And our slogan for the Bowhunting League is keep it simple. We try to make this competition as simple as possible. And like for the does, you're going to go online, just like you'd enter your buck. And all I need for them to enter it is a picture of the doe with the bow. Because if you don't have the bow in the picture, it doesn't count. Mm-hmm. And then you just got to put down what state you killed it in and when it was killed. Because like we have a 10-day period. So say you're on a hunting trip that's lasts a week long and you killed it on the first day, you have up till 10 days to enter that deer from the day you killed it. Okay. That's how we do that. And then also in the doe contest, we're calling it the King of Queens, is what it was called last year, but that's going to take after like the King of Time.
I like that.
And that person is going to be the one that kills the most does in the most states. Is how that's
Is the guy you talked about earlier, is he the current like front runner?
Yes.
What is I was going to say, what is the biggest or the most does that have ever been taken by a single individual?
20. That was
20?
Him. Yep.
So I got a question for you, and I think this probably toes the line of cheating. I live in Iowa, so I would assume Iowa's in, if you're talking Mason-Dixon, and if you guys don't know what the Mason-Dixon line is, come on.
Iowa's in North
God. So I would assume Arkansas is the South
Correct.
Zone. So now what happens if I kill my does in Iowa and then I take my trip? I usually take a trip or two down to Arkansas and I kill in Arkansas. Okay. So then that leads to my next question. Do you guys run into, or have you, I guess, I don't know how you would know the difference, but have you ran into people trying to cheat?
Yes, we have. And the way that we do this, and we've always said it, people talk. Word will get out. We'll figure it out. We have enough people. That's why we're always posting stuff. And we have a big crew of guys that look over all the scores, pay attention. We can tell if somebody didn't shoot it in the right season because we got people in every state.
Well, I guess if you're making us, do you have to include a picture of the tag at all?
I was going to get to that. If I ask you to say, hey, I need to see a picture of the tag for that one, because if I don't think the dates or whatever lined up, send me a picture of the tag. If you refuse to do it, then you're done. You're banned. You're gone. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
We don't put up with the cheating.
Yeah, because I was going to say I could potentially hunt, kill my does, fill my tags in Iowa, go down to Arkansas, and I don't know if Arkansas for a non-resident, Arkansas is not quite as liberal as it is for. I think the resident, they can kill in certain zones in Arkansas. They can kill up to 6 deer, and then it gets sketchy about how many buck tags.
Well,
and blah,
actually,
blah, blah,
at the end of the year, if you are in the top 10 teams are in the top 10 in King of Tines, along with, we'll figure out which one's from the doe contest, but we have what's called a showdown. And It was in Arkansas last year. It'll be in Arkansas again this year. And you get invited down to that. So then all you have to do when you get down there is you buy your tags for Arkansas, and where it's at, there's public ground all surrounding this property. So you're going to go hunt public ground. They actually killed quite a few deer down there last year. And it's a great time. I didn't get to make it down last year. I'm hoping to make it down this year. But that's one of our awesome props that you get to go hang out with everybody, cook out, eat good, have a good time.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty certain that I'm not going to be any top 10s, but I do travel to Arkansas, so you should let me know. I'll just come out, I'll hang out, pay my way, and just come meet everybody. I think that'd be cool.
And that goes also with the networking part. It's actually the hunting camp that we have it at is actually from some of the guys that are in the Bowhunting League. They offered up their hunting camp to have it at.
Can you say where it's at? Or is it a secret?
Don't know the exact place it's at.
Okay. I'm just curious where it is in conjunction to where I usually go.
About the middle. It's on the, I know roughly the area. It's about middle of the state is where it's at.
I'm not too far from there. We'll talk
it's
afterwards.
About 4 hours from Statesville and about the Oklahoma-Arkansas line. I think it's roughly an hour and a half.
Okay.
If that gives you a estimate.
We'll have to talk about that more. I just enjoy meeting people that I talk to, especially people I get to talk to on a podcast for an hour.
And just like that, to meet other Bowhunting League guys, we will have Bowhunting League at both the Mobile Hunter Expos this year.
Oh,
Kalamazoo, which Kalamazoo's only an hour from me in Michigan, so I'll be there. Ben will be there, and then the one in Tennessee, we'll have a bunch of people there.
I was gonna start the show with this, but I am curious. Just because I'm still mourning the end of turkey season. You're a turkey hunter, you said. How did your turkey season go? Did you have a good one or a bad one?
I didn't hunt. Our turkey season was really weird in Indiana this year. The toms didn't want to leave the hens until about the last 10 days of the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I got my own business, so I got real busy right at that point. And with my elbow injury, I still am struggling to draw my bow back. But so I ran a team. My team was Misfits because it was whoever didn't get on a turkey team. We just threw 2 teams together, and I led it, make sure everything ran.
Yeah.
But I killed a 13.5-inch beer, inch and a quarter, inch and 3/8 spurs. Is what I.
How long was the beer?
13.5.
My God.
He was boss. I reaped him. I should have brought my bow out with me, but being the first time reaping one by myself, I was like, I don't know. And if I would have brought my bow, I shot him with a shotgun at 10 yards. And,
you cheater. No, just kidding.
But, I got enough crap from all the guys in the league. It was ridiculous.
Dude, here's the thing. Again, I've said this on the show a million times. I feel like I'm Joe Rogan. If you listen to Rogan, I love Joe Rogan, but then he'll get into talking about certain monocrop agriculture or, God, I don't he gets into things that he repeats over and over and over and over and over. So I feel like that's me right now. But I am a firm believer. I am a bow hunter. For the haters out there, for the trad haters, I'm a compound bow hunter through and through, except for turkey. I have zero interest of shooting a turkey with a bow. I think that turkeys were made to be shot by shotguns. I just feel like that's just the way it is. I don't know what else to say. I think if I had, like in Iowa, I can get two tags. I usually hunt Illinois, so I get a tag there. I feel like if my first or second season Iowa tag gets filled, my Illinois tag gets filled, and I got a third one floating out there, I feel like I could be like, okay, let's try this bow thing. My problem with shooting a turkey with a bow is this. I cannot sit still in a blind. I just won't do it. I've got to run and gun. I have to be able to move. I have to call, locate, move. I like to play that game.
Yep.
And I don't like the idea of run and gunning with a bow because, I mean, you can run and gun, play the game, the moment happens, and then you try to draw the bow and it picks you off.
I'll have to.
I'd rather have a shotgun just ready to put him down.
Like the guy I was talking about that killed the 30 deer last year. He's a turkey. He did a double slam in the United States, not this year, the year before with his bow. In the same.
Really?
Yeah, he's
holy cow.
Crazy. But I've seen the videos and watched him record himself reaping turkeys with the bow all the time. Like he's a turkey assassin.
Hold on. This guy, did someone else record him, or was he self-recording?
He self-records at times too. Yes.
So this guy
crazy
is self-recording.
Yes.
While reaping a turkey with a bow.
Yes.
That's got to be the most difficult turkey hunting situation you could possibly ask for.
And the reason we call him the barefoot assassin because I don't think I've ever seen a video or picture with that man having shoes on.
Who is this guy?
Justin Miller.
You don't have to say.
I'll say his name. It's Justin Miller.
I thought you said Chuck Norris, and I was like, well, no wonder. No wonder.
No, it's Justin Miller. Yeah, he's crazy. With that guy, he lives, eats, breathes bow hunting. Is what he does.
Does he? I'm asking this because he seems like I have so many different ideas of who this guy is in my head at the moment. Does he have internet access? Yeah. I need to have this guy on the show.
I'll talk. I'll line it up. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, if you can line it up. This guy's almost unbelievable.
He's one king of spurs. Like that's the thing with the turkey contest is it's unlimited up. Like it's much spur inches as you can kill in a year, and he won it 2 years in a row.
So do you? Is it you said it's unlimited upgrade, but is it biggest bird?
Nope.
Or is it you add to your spur count?
Spurs up. So every turkey you kill, you add your spurs up. And I'm not mistaken, he had I'm thinking it was almost 10 inches of spurs or more that he had 2 years ago. It was crazy. He's ridiculous.
This is a real person?
Yes, he makes me jealous. I've turkey hunted not this year, year before, all season until the last day of the season with my bow because I just got so frustrated. I said, screw it, grabbed the shotgun. And went and smacked a big double beard with the shotgun. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Nope, I'm not.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated with it, but it never fails. As soon as I have the shotgun with me, I get them in at 5 yards.
Yeah, for sure.
But like the turkey teams, like what we do with that is it's 15-person teams. And honestly, the turkey contest is just something to have fun with. Like there's a few prizes here and there, but mainly it's just for the camaraderie. And like I said earlier, networking. Our biggest thing, networking.
Well, that's a great way to keep everybody in touch throughout the year. And so I'm kind of curious. And like I said, I don't know what your guys' structure is over there. Can you say some of your main sponsors for this upcoming season?
We have some. This year we have title sponsors. Like we have some big title sponsors stepping up. Tacticam is one of our, they're one of our real big sponsors. Latitude is our exclusive saddle sponsor. Rubline Scents is our official deer scent sponsor. They're out of Pennsylvania. I'll touch on that because I know the scents is a little touchy. They are actually, they do the work and put the work in with the testing that you are allowed to even use it in most CWD areas.
Oh, really?
Because Pennsylvania is real finicky on that. They actually went to court and everything else. But they are allowed to be used there. HHA sites. I'm trying to think of who else. Zinger fletches and new Canadi arrows. There are Soul sponsored for arrows and fletchings this year. Trying to think. I just looked at the list, but that's the top ones that are popping up.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty solid lineup right there.
And we're also, I'm going to put it out there just because if anybody's interested in it and you're real good in your state with a pro shop, we're looking for sponsors for each state this year to donate a bow. So the biggest buck in each state, we're hoping to be able to give them a bow for the largest buck in every state. We've got, I think, 5 or 6 states right now that already, these different pro shops donated a bow, and they will be given away for the largest buck.
That's awesome.
And we've seen this last year, I think, was the first year we didn't have a 200-inch buck entered.
Oh, really?
I think it was 2 or 3 years ago out of Ohio, we had a 250-inch buck get entered.
A what?
He was 252.
250?
Yep.
50?
Yes.
Holy crap.
He was absolutely huge.
My goodness.
Yes.
Now that's going to lead me, and I already know the answer, but for anybody who isn't tracking, you guys do not allow high fence, mid fence.
Nope.
It's got to be free range.
And we will find out. We've had people try to enter them before. We will find out that it was killed in a high fence area.
Well, when they enter a 330-inch whitetail, you're kind of like, hey.
Yep.
That's the one thing about that high fence. Like, and again, like my thing is, if it's legal, you go for it.
Yep.
But the whole high fence thing, like, I don't even think they look good.
No.
Now, if you get a crazy non-typical, free range non-typical, I mean, some of them get pretty wild, but like, you can still tell that they don't tip you off to be like, I don't know. What was it? Is it? Oh God, who is it? Was it the Huff Buck?
Yeah,
this
that was
year?
killed in Indiana last year.
Was that the one that they found like it escaped from a high fence?
It was completely free. It was completely free range. It was the Huff Buck.
Was that the one where the controversy was, or was there a different one?
There was a different one that was killed in Tennessee.
Is that the one where it escaped, but it was living free range for like a year or 6 months or something?
I'm pretty certain that one got accepted. He actually, that buck was killed 45 minutes from where I live.
Was it really?
Fort Wayne, Indiana, where it was New Haven, is where it was killed at. And I've heard the story because I'm part of a deer tracking group with dogs. And there's guys talking. I actually talked to him, and he actually killed that buck really close to him. So, but he hunted that buck. He's watched it for a few years. But just like that 252-inch buck that was killed in Ohio there entered the league, there was guys saying, oh, there's no way. But I grew up right where it was killed at. So as soon as I got to talking to him, I said, I have a good idea where you killed it at. And it was a golf course buck is what it was. They're big. They live big good.
I mean, hey, it's not fenced in.
Right.
I mean, there's no tag on its ear.
But just goes back to, too, like I tell people all the time, don't be afraid to knock on doors or call people. I got permission where I killed my turkey this year. I got permission 15 minutes before I killed him. To hunt that field. I talked to the guy one other time. He's like, I don't know. Somebody might be hunting it. Well, I seen him out there, so I called him. He said, yeah, go ahead. Go kill him. I texted him back 20 minutes later with pictures. He's like, awesome. Glad to see it. Good job. I was like, that's cool. Even better.
Isn't it funny, though? I feel like turkey hunting is still a go ahead and knock on doors sport. Like, there's definitely spots where I live where I will not. I've seen some boss toms out there, but knowing the area, you don't want to go knock on that door because they're cooking something and they will kill you over it. But there is also, like, for the most part, like turkey hunting, it seems like everyone's like, oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, turkeys, go ahead. Whatever. If you go on someone's door, at least in Iowa, and you're like, hey, I wanted to know if I could deer hunt, like before you can even, the first time you say, if I could, like they hear a D, they're like, no, get out of here. It's funny how that is so different. And I like turkey hunting better than I like deer hunting. So it works out. It works out better for me.
And I have one of my properties. It took me 6 years to get permission to deer hunt.
Really?
And it was just, and the reason I even started to get permission is I coon hunt. I competition coon hunt and stuff. So my dog went on his property, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, just the way I am, I went and knocked on his door. And he told me, yeah, go ahead. Then I stopped by the next day to apologize, yada, yada, yada. But he told me, yeah, just knock on the door anytime you need to go back there. Well, it never failed. Anytime the dog would go, it was 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, finally, he gave me his number, and then we got to talk, and then he asked me 2 years ago, hey, do you want to deer hunt? Absolutely.
Oh, he asked you?
He asked me if I wanted to deer hunt.
Oh, shoot.
I said, absolutely. I've been hunting it since, and I've just, and that's the one thing I do, like in the bow hunting league, is you'll hear everybody tell you, knock on doors. Do not be afraid. Even if you hear the consensus, that person's a complete dick. Go knock on the door.
Yeah.
I've actually, 2 of my properties, I was told, they'll never give permission. Knock on the door. Yeah, go ahead. No issues. Have fun. Good luck. I'll tell everybody else to stay off. And them are some of my best landowners.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's freaking cool. One thing I wanted to do, and this may screw the show up, and I hope not, while we're talking turkey, you guys got to see some of these names. So is this Turkey League still going, I assume?
Nope, it just ended. June 1st was the last day.
So if I name these off in any particular order, is that going to screw anything up?
It should be updated. Because we just...
I'm going to...
Who's number 1?
Pastor
Yep,
Pimps.
that's who won.
Again. I'll name them off in random, but I think this is great because this is one of the best parts about having a team structure. We got Pastor Pimps, our number 1. You got, which I think is clever, spur of the moment. You got Spur Daddies. I like Bearded Bangers, bunch of Jake-offs, Strut Stoppers. There's a tie here. Pecker Wreckers or D Struts. I love it.
We have fun.
And then you got Roost Reapers, Between the Tines, Misfits. You got some other people who just have legitimate names, but you got Pastor Pimps. You got the Pecker Wreckers.
Yep.
I mean, you guys got it going on over there.
The Pastor Pimps. Well, I'll put it this way. The first and second teams this year, first time we've ever had it, all 15 of the members killed and entered a bird with their bow this year.
No kidding. That's pretty good.
And they killed more than 15 birds total between them with bows because they had multiple upgrades.
Well, damn it. Now we just solved the population issues. It's the damn bow hunting league. You're the problem with the turkey population.
We've been doing a thing. We're going to do it this next year again. We do a live video every week of Talk Turkey to Me. And there's guys that are on there from all over, in like Iowa, Missouri, out there. They're all talking like, we always have birds, and they're done disappearing. Yeah. And I will put this out there. I know it's controversial. I'm going to say a statement, and that's it. If a coon hunter comes and asks to hunt it, I can put money down. It ain't going to hurt your deer at all, and it will only help your turkey population.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's controversial. I think that I don't know how you would do it. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's a thing, but trapping and just coons, possums, all those nest raiders, there's been a big trend. And granted, I've only been hunting for 3 years. So I can't say like I've seen over the years, but since I started, I don't remember 3 years ago there being quite as much conversation around predator control.
I've seen much of it.
Specifically this past year, it's really encouraging that is a very hot topic.
Yes.
This is a very big topic. People need to coon hunt. They need to start trapping again. The fact of the matter is there's a million different reasons that turkey populations are. That's why I hate when I love the NWTF and I love Turkeys for Tomorrow. I love all those things, and I think we should all be a part of them and support them. But I hate when anybody who's in a bigger name thing is like, where's the turkeys going? It's like, you know where they're at. You know what's going on.
I'll put it this way. My best turkey property last year, opening day, I counted 19 coon in the field. That day. Yeah. I went in through that whole year. I trained pups and stuff too. So I'm constantly out there 5-6 days a week at times and hunting them. We put a hurting on them this last fall. This year, I haven't seen near as many. I've seen poults running around. So it's like, awesome. We're doing something. And I have guys now that through the bowhunting league even that know that I coon hunt. Hey, do you know anybody in my area that does? And I'll find somebody that's in the area that's responsible and send them their way. And I've had guys in the coon hunting world tell me, hey, thank you. Like, we're willing to travel an hour to go hunt good ground just because.
Yeah. Well, it's coons and coyotes and just all the, I mean, obviously there's not, how do I want to say this? One of the big hot topics is turkey population is declining due to habitat. I would say probably a majority of us out there who turkey hunt don't have the ability to make an impact on habitat. I hunt public ground. I can't go cutting things down and planting things and ripping things out. There's a lot of people who do own private ground, but they don't have the extra thousands of dollars to do a total makeover of their habitat. But the one thing that we all can do, which is a huge impact to the turkey population, is predator control. And, if maybe coyote hunting is your thing, cool, do that. That helps. Maybe you love trapping. Cool, do that. That helps. Maybe you love all of it. I mean, like myself, I would love to be out there doing all of it, but I have two very small boys. I don't have the time right now. But the time I do have, if I can go spend that coon hunting, I'm probably not checking traps right now, just to be honest. Yeah. But if I can go out and just coon hunt a little bit, coyote hunt, things like that, those are the things that we can all do to make
even like that, you don't
life
want to
better.
Trap. Like for coon hunting, you can go take the 22 as long as you got the proper license stuff in a spotlight. We call it shining. You can walk along the edges of the woods, and they'll be sitting up in the trees looking at you.
Yeah.
Like we used to do this. We used to do that in high school. We didn't have the dogs and stuff. But like coyote hunt wise, I will say this: everybody around here will tell you where I live. We killed just under 100 coyotes again this year, and
awesome.
we coyote hunt. As soon as Christmas, December, as soon as deer season's over, we're coyote hunting. And you'll hear people around here, like, we don't get told no to go on properties because the deer numbers, like if you drive around about right now, maybe a little bit later, you got to watch the hit deer because there's that many deer around. In turkey population, I've noticed a little decline in it, but it's not as much as it could be because there's a lot of guys that coon hunt around here. We call it a coon zoo around here because there's that many. But that's the same thing. And that's one of our big topics in the league has been, too, is guys have been pushing, hey, we really need to step up and do the predator nest raider patrol because if we don't, that resource is no longer going to be there.
Yeah. And it's naive to think that it'll never go away. Turkeys will never. It happened. It already happened. And I'm not going to act like I'm some super big turkey predator control guy. Like, I believe in it, but I can only do what I can do with the time I have available. But
for every little bit helps.
I think one big thing that was, is even still a little bit to me. I think a lot of guys, myself, I only have access to public ground, so I think a lot of guys are like, I don't know, because obviously the idea of using spotlights and shooting after dark and things like that. Because of the world we come from where that's completely illegal, we just tend to think like that. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can hunt coyotes at night. I don't know if I can shoot a gun at night or spotlight things. If you're that person that you want to go do it, but you're not sure, just call your local DNR. They will be happy to let you know.
I have personal numbers. I have our DNRs around here, personal numbers.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact of all that.
And I would say, don't call your DNR office because those people are not the conservation officers. They're going to say, let me ask. Just, you should be able to go on whatever.
Well, most counties, I know how it is in Indiana and in Ohio, is you can call your local sheriff's department, their office number, whatever, and they can put you in contact with the local DNR officer.
Yeah.
And that they will be more than happy to explain it to you. And I'll say this, too, about the deer-wise. If you're out at nighttime, even spotlighting for coon and stuff, pay attention to what deer you see. I do 90% of my scouting when I'm coon hunting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I walked last year, the one buck I've been watching. He's only a 3-year-old. He's in the 150 range. But
Yeah.
I don't know how many times last year walking to the tree where the dog's treed and that buck's standing at 30 yards away just watching.
No
So
kidding.
used to it. They're so used to it that I walk into the tree with my red or green light on, and they're just standing there watching me. Grab the dog,
Really?
walk out, and they don't even move. They won't even. They might go 10 yards away just to feel a little safer, but they don't move. They're so used to it. And to touch on another thing, there's actually been studies by multiple colleges that say coon hunting at night actually encourages and promotes daylight deer activity.
I mean, I can understand. Yeah.
Because
I can see that.
Know, hey, when it gets dark, there's gonna be commotion, there's gonna be noise in this woods. So hey, before dark, we need to get out of this woods. And I coon hunt the same woods I deer hunt, and I have pictures to prove of me and the dog walking by the camera, and 20 minutes later, one of my target bucks come walking by like nothing even bothered him.
No,
and it makes me so angry at times. But
right.
My big Ohio buck, he's a 155-inch buck. I got done coon hunting 2 hours before I killed him.
No shit.
I treed a coon within 20 yards of the tree stand, and I killed him that same morning 2 hours later.
Really?
He walked out.
That's awesome.
Because it was gun season, granted, there, because I always go back to hunt with family in Ohio. And I coon hunted that night. My dad, everybody around was complaining because I was coon hunting. And then they found out I killed that buck the same spot because my Garmin, I actually pulled the Garmin out when I got home. It's like, holy cow, like I was right there. And within 2 hours, he walked out in daylight out in the woods and I killed him.
No kidding.
I keep telling people, like I show them, they're like, you'll never kill a big one. I'm like, I have proof. I have all right here of how big.
Right.
They're like, oh wow, but it's just different stuff like that. And that's the one thing I hate, and you will never see in the bow hunting league either, is we don't discriminate on any ways of hunting at all. Like, well, that's what you love to do. And I have some of the biggest bow hunters in the country that have talked to me about the coon hunting because they want more information on it because they never understood it. And I'm like, find a local guy close to go with them one night. And you're going to be shocked on how many deer you see, how different it is. And like, I've been hunting with a couple guys and like, how do you walk so quiet through the woods? I said, well, when you're in the woods day and night, you learn to walk through the woods and you can almost walk silently.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's a good way to get over I've talked about this before. I've talked to other people about it. We all hate walking in the morning and leaving at night. That's a great way to get over that fear.
Well,
just go where there's no hope. It's going to be dark the whole time.
Well, like a lot of guys, they always carry the little lights, and I get laughed at because I throw my coon light on in the mornings. Yeah. My red light will light it up enough where you don't need a white light. I flip my red or green light on, I can see everything and anything. But I also, like I said, I coon hunt those woods. So if, say, for instance, you're in a section where there ain't much activity and you always blow them out of the section, for the month before deer season, go walk through the woods right in the dark. And I can guarantee you that them deer will start getting used to it. They hear a branch crack, they're not blowing out of the section. They're gonna hear it and get, oh, it's just somebody walking through the woods, no big deal. And ever since I've been coon hunting, I've noticed that them same woods, the deer aren't near as spooky when you're walking through there in the dark.
Yeah. That's a good point. And you hear all the time about, just how you have to be so careful and you blow one out of one area, they're gone forever and this and that. This is what you hear from, I don't know, big name people. But then when you talk to people about cause I've asked coming from a new hunter's perspective, you hear oh, if you spook a buck, he's never coming back. You screwed it up, he's never coming back. But then when you actually talk to people like we are right now, actually in the field people, I've heard time and time again, obviously, no, it's not a good idea to just go skipping through the woods, being loud as hell. But if you bump something, it's you haven't lost hope. That thing's not. It's going to stay in the area. It might be spooky for a day or two, but it's going to go back to what it always knows how to do. It's not moving from Indiana. It's not going to move to Iowa because you bumped it one time.
Right.
Which is what as a new hunter, that's mostly what I pick up is you spook him, you're screwed. And it's like, not really.
Now, I will say,
I mean,
if you spook one out and your tree stands real close to where you spooked them out at, you'll be able to tell which deer you blew out of there within the next week, because when they come in, they're going to be a lot more weary. They're going to be more alert. But if you play the wind,
they're still going to be there.
If you can play the wind, and the big thing that I've been really researching and learning on is thermals. If you can learn to play your thermals, you got nothing to worry about. Honestly.
Yeah, that's almost to me like, as I've kind of gotten, deeper down the hunting rabbit hole. We talk about wind. I don't think we talk enough about thermals, and I almost feel like thermals are equally or more important than the wind, because depending on the thermals, your thermals can actually trump wind direction in situations, and granted, you've really got to understand in the moment what's happening, because I would not ever tell somebody, well, if the air is supposed to be rising, screw the wind. I would never tell you that. But if you really understand it and take the time to learn it, I mean, thermals are very, very important and very useful.
Yes.
Especially depending on the terrain. Like in Iowa, for the most part where I'm at, everything's flat. But if you get into some like hilly terrain, paying attention to thermals, allowing you, mountainous terrain, hilly terrain, knowing should you set up low, should you set up high, it's something to really dive into, because it's very important and it's very helpful to know what thermals are. Just like you said there, like where I grew up in Ohio, it is flat. Like you can see for miles if you could. Now where I moved up here to Indiana, there's some hills. I was never used to it. So, and once I start learning about the thermals, because of deer tracking with the dogs and stuff, we really pay attention to them. But you start learning about all that, and I started playing it this last year. The wind when I killed my buck was actually in the worst possible direction, but my thermals were good enough and the temperature was rising fast enough that morning that I knew I was fine. I shot my buck at 5 yards. Yeah.
Like, I didn't even have time to stand up. I literally was still sitting down and shot him at 5 yards. And he never knew I was there until I drew my bow back. And it was like, I was blown away. And ever since then, I'm like, okay, I'm really going to start paying attention to how the thermals are, how fast the temperature's rising that day, and all of that. And it's just the little things like that. If you kind of catch on to them, you're going to go, like you said, the rabbit hole. You're going to go down the rabbit hole, but you're going to learn something. Yeah. And like I tell all new hunters, too, every time you go hunting, try to pick something out of that hunt that you learn from. And it'll make you a better hunter every time.
Yep. And you know what? As a new hunter, like I've said before, as a new hunter, you're probably going to err on the side of being conservative with things because you don't want to screw the hunt up. I almost feel like you need to just completely I feel like a new hunter needs to be overly aggressive, but be overly aggressive with the understanding that, yes, you are going to probably screw your hunt up for the day, but the amount of information that you gain and the knowledge and experience you're going to get from screwing a hunt up far outweighs you being too conservative to where you're not even in the game. Yep. Because like my first year, I stayed so far back and I was so conservative and I didn't see any deer. And it's like, well, no wonder you didn't see any deer. You weren't getting into the deer at all. Like you need to get in there, screw it up, because then you're like, well, there are deer here. And then look at like, okay, what did I screw up? What did I do wrong? What can I do the next time, a week later, if I go back? What can I do differently and still get in there?
And like I told a lot of guys, they say to wait till August, September. No, get out there now. And go go walk your paths, walk all your runs, figure out where all your runs are at. Because if you blow a deer out of there right now, granted it's hot out in most areas, them deer aren't going to know you were there in October. They're not going to know. And that was my biggest thing growing up in Ohio. We hunted all little patch woods. So instead of my comfort zone when I moved up here was hunting on the edges. Yeah. Well, last year I finally said, screw it. I got out of my comfort zone. And my stand where I killed my buck, I'm actually in the middle of the woods. And I was so uncomfortable by that, but I noticed the success and just start walking runs because in like the one run on my one property, I never knew it was there until I started walking it. Well, when I'm walking on it, everything else is wet. I felt like I was walking on concrete. Well, that tells you, hey, them deer are traveling that constantly. Set cameras up, and it's like, oh wow. And you can always, like I follow a guy on Facebook. It's Whitetail Strategies. He's very knowledgeable. He kills some of the biggest bucks. I think his smallest buck in 5 years is a 196. Yeah, he kills ginormous bucks every year. And somebody like that with that track record, I'm going to listen to him. I've been hunting for 20 years. Yeah. This will be my 20th season this year. And I still try to learn something every single time I'm out. And that's what I did last year. I started walking different runs. And I was just shocked on the amount of sign I could find.
Well, for you, I mean, 20 years, I would consider that, you're an experienced hunter at 20 years. So I assume you would agree with what I'm about to say. To a new hunter who is overly conservative because you're afraid to blow things out, here's my question. Would you rather sit in a tree stand, way on the edge or way in a spot because you're being conservative, not see anything all season long? Or would you rather go too far, bump deer, and at least see them? From my first season, I literally did not see a single. Well, I don't want to say that. I did see a couple towards the end when I started figuring things out. But my point is, would you rather go in and not see anything, or would you rather go in and see something run away? Now, to me, I would rather see a deer bounding off because I bumped it than to sit in a stand, not see a single thing but one possum, and then go home.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's the one thing I think the problem with the new hunters is they're hearing this from the general consensus of, oh, you got to be conservative so you don't screw it up. But then they're getting burned out because they're not seeing no deer.
Right.
And
exactly.
Like my kids, I'm going to find spots that, I'm taking them out. It's going to be somewhere that's quick and easy to get into, but I'm still going to try to get it to where they're going to see deer of some sort. Yeah. And like our deer population around here is outrageous. I counted the one time where I sat in my stand last year over 40 deer in the same stand.
Jeez.
And it's like literally like my landowner, he lives right there on the property, and he'll send me pictures during deer season. Like I'm sitting in a stand in the back chasing a buck, but there's 20 does standing in the hayfield. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, that's awesome, but and which other times, like I hunt around lakes. Like we got 101 lakes in my county. And literally where my one tree stand is, I can see the whole lake and all the lake houses. And that's the one thing I tell new hunters too is don't overlook those small little acreage woods lots. Because where I just got permission, there's only 3 acres of woods there. But when I was tracking a deer for somebody that shot it on adjacent property and I walked through there last year, it was destroyed. I think some of the best deer sign in these small little sections. And if that's all you can get for, say, private ground, do it. You might be surprised on what you see in those little sections.
Yeah.
And that makes you, like, some of my favorite spots are, I prefer to hunt those little tiny sections over a huge section. Yeah. You'll catch me in a little section over a big section most days.
Well, I mean, it comes down to, one thing you will hear is hunt overlooked spots, kind of like what you're saying. I mean, if you're worried about bumping a deer and it's going to run somewhere and you're going to lose, it's not going to be in the spot you thought it was. If it does run, where do you think it's going to go? Yep. It's going to go where it's safe. Yep. Where is it safe? It's safe where nobody goes. Where does nobody want to hunt? 3 acres. Nobody wants to spend the time to go on a 3-acre piece of land. Because what the hell could possibly be on 3 acres? Well, it's all the deer that everybody else pressured into those 3 acres.
And just like that, my one property, it's 13 acres, but it butts right up to the main road around the lake. During deer season, if it's nice out, I will watch people walking by the whole time. I'm sitting in my tree stand 80 yards off the road, and I'm watching people walk by the road. I've had deer standing in there, and I just watch people walk by, and they go about their business. It's like, I can't ask for much better because, okay, human scent for one. They already know what it smells like, so
yeah.
That's a quick, easy after-work spot that, hey, okay, If I'm not completely scent free, it ain't a big deal. But it's like them little spots like that. Like I know one of the guys in the bowhunting league, he was talking to me, he goes, I can hunt this little 7-acre section, should I? I said, do it. He hung a camera and sent me pictures 3 days later. He goes, I'll be in there every day. He ended up killing a 135-inch deer this last year, and that's his biggest buck, because he went and started hunting this real tiny section that nobody else wanted to hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've got access to those little spots, man, check them out. At the very least, hang a trail camera. I mean, that's going to tell you, whether or not.
If you put your boots on the ground in most of the small sections, there's going to be 1 or 2 main runs that go through that section. And most of the time they're small enough that you can run 2 cameras and cover everything that goes in and out of those 2 sections. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like my one section I'm talking about, that's only 3 acres. Where I have my tree stand at, both main runs are within 30 yards.
No shit.
I got 30-yard shot to the one. I think I got 32 or 33 to the other one. So anything that comes through that section are within range. And then they're not going to know I'm there because I'm sitting 30 yards off each trail. I'm going to have it sit and eat. And from that section, the nearest woods, I think they got a 100-yard walk to the nearest woods. Yeah. But the landowner, between his house and the woods, it's all head-high grass. So it's like, okay, they're bedding in there. They're going to make, and you can see the main path. It comes out of there, goes through the woods, and then out to the fields. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's a main section. I asked the guy that lives there. He goes, oh, yeah, I see big bucks in there all the time. There's always does. And I was like, okay, can I hunt it? And he goes, go talk to my dad. And his dad told me, he goes, well, what did my son say? I said, my son said to talk to you. He goes, well, he's okay with it. Go right ahead. So I'm like, sweet.
Nice.
I went in there last week. I actually hung a tree stand last week because I trimmed everything up. I set the tree stand in there because right now all the leaves are on. I got all my things done. I got a cell cam in there, and I won't go back in there till I need to change batteries, or I need to put my rub line out, which I'll start that in July. And other than that, I won't be in that woods until deer season.
Right.
And if there is anybody listening that wants more info on rub line, feel free to reach out. I'll give you the whole rundown on it.
Yeah, if you guys want to cheat and use scent, no, I'm just kidding. I would be interested in that because that is a subject that gets controversial between people who are like, dude, I swear to God it works. Other people are like, no, it doesn't. And it's like, I personally have never used it any sense just because I hunt public ground and I'm usually I follow wherever I find deer signs. So I don't have like a set spot to really like work on. But
I'm going to put a little teaser out here for everybody. Pay attention to the Bowhunting League site because I'm going to start. There's going to be a bunch of trail cam pictures in one of the 10 things that are going to pop up using that. And it's going to be my personal farms that it's just, that's all I'm going to say on it. But keep your eye out because you're going to be, some people, I guarantee I have people contact me. Can I come hunt? Can I come hunt? But it's one of those things that we're going to work out with our sponsors that they're sponsoring it because what other better way to get the word out about it and show it than real proof?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, hey, man, we have been going for a while. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let everybody know where they can find the Bowhunting League, wherever it is on social media. Go ahead and mention where they can find that right now. You can find it
on Facebook. There's 2 different pages, bowhuntingleague.com and this regular Bowhunting League. Join them up. We're also on Instagram. So if you're more on Instagram, you can go on there. You can see most of it, but most of our main updates are on the Facebook page. And if there is any questions, if you don't know who to contact, make a post. One of us main people will see it, and we'll contact you, get with you. But you can contact me. My name's all over the page on 10 different documents. Or even if you just want to talk, look for the blue thing that says Operation Doe Patrol. My name's at the top. Feel free to message me.
And then your guys' website, the main website is just bowhuntingleague.com. Yep. All right. Well, guys, make sure you check that out. It sounds like, I don't know why you wouldn't do it.
It's free.
There's no reason not to. It's a ton of fun. It's absolutely free. You can win some kick-ass prizes. like actually really great prizes. If you don't have buddies to do it with, they'll hook you up with buddies to do it with. And that's probably going to spur friendships that go long beyond just the season. Registration is currently open now for the 23-24 season,
Correct.
right?
And it ends last day of August, because velvet season opens the first weekend of September is the first velvet season in the country. But you have to be entered on the team before you hunt. Otherwise, we can accept it.
So as soon as you get off this podcast, guys, go over there, go to bowhuntingleague.com, get on a team, get it figured out, get your buddies together, whatever it is. Awesome chance to win great prizes, just a fun thing. Hit up their Facebook page, get in there. Sounds like it's a very supportive, awesome group of people, and we need more of that in the hunting community. We can never have enough of that. But hey, if you guys found value in this show, if you learned something new, if you put something in your old quiver to take into the woods with you, and if you found a new fun bow hunting league to join, make sure you guys are sharing the show. That's my one call to action with you guys for this season. Share my show with as many people as you can, because ultimately when you guys share the show, we can continue getting great guests, which gets great information for us as new hunters, and that's ultimately going to make you more deadly in the woods. So until next Thursday, guys, this is Vince, and this has been the Antler and Feather Co. podcast.